Okay, so we're almost done. So in this video, we'll cover the last two steps, steps 4 of disabling the patch method and also step 5 of modifying the detection strategy. Let's go ahead and open up this file, my data rest config. And let's move down here. So we have the unsupported actions. So put, post, delete. So I'll just kind of move this down to another line. So we have the method delete, and then I'll do a similar thing here for patch. We are not allowing patch, so it's an unsupported action. So it's in this array, and everything else works out fine because we use the same array in the following lines of code. So everything's in place, just making this update in one location. So as a quick refresher here, I'm going to put the slide back in just to kind of jog our memories because we've been going for a bit. But in step 5, we need to modify the Spring Data REST detection strategy. So by default, Spring Data REST will expose the REST APIs for the Spring Data repositories. This works in general, but we may not want to expose all. So in our case, the customer repository, we don't want to expose it as a REST API. We only want to use it internally. And this last bullet here is that currently the /API/customers is currently exposed, and we need to fix this. That's not good. So let me show you this real quick in the web browser. If our app is up and running on the back end, then if we go to localhost 8080/API/customers, then we actually see the customer data. Eek, yikes, not good. So let's go ahead and fix this ASAP in our application because we didn't want to expose this Spring Data repository as a REST endpoint. So we can move down to our application.properties file and we can configure the actual detection strategy for Spring Data REST. So I'll kind of zoom in here. And I'll set up the Spring Data REST detection strategy equals annotated. So that's one of the strategies that we learned about in one of our previous videos. So now Spring Data REST will only expose a REST endpoint if you have the @repository REST resource annotation. And that's based on our configs. Let's move in here to country repository. So this has the @repository REST resource. That's good. So we're A-OK there. We want to expose that one. Customer repository is not annotated. Hence, it will not be exposed as a REST API based on our configurations. We have the product category repository that's annotated accordingly. That's good. Product repository, oh, no annotation. So we need to explicitly give the repository REST resource annotation. And then over to state repository. Here we have the appropriate annotation. This is A-OK. This looks good. So now we can go ahead and run our application. And then swing back over to a web browser and do a reload here on this API/customers. And now we get a 404. So this is good. So API customers is not exposed. That's good for us. We didn't want to expose that given REST endpoint. All right, good job. And then also we can go through and just test other parts of our application. So here we have categories along the side. We have products. So we know that all of the configurations there, everything else is still working out just fine as far as exposing our desired REST endpoints. Okay, so this is a good little exercise here, going back and refactoring some of our code, cleaning up some of our code. And so now we're in really good shape. So I like to say, good job, my friend.